What's going on, Cancer? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to the Chariot Friends. Ooh, that was a big one. Justin here, and how you feeling today? We got this. I like this energy. The moon is in Pisces, and even considering the phase that she's in, I think that this can be a wonderful time for inspiration. We're in a lot of really beautiful Pisces energy for these next couple of days because Venus just entered into there too. So she's making her great debut in her exalted sign of Pisces. So I think that this is really a time to, in coupling with that, paying attention to the things that you're attracting, bringing in the highest vibrations of yourself, tuning into that divine guidance. We'll get into that all in a minute here. We're getting moon card energy. But before we jump into that, if you're new here, my name is Justin, and know that when you're coming across this channel, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. But also, this is a place for you if you happen to have Cancer in your placement. Sun, moon, rising, maybe Jupiter, wherever. This one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off this lovely luminary, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going for it. Of course, it's all them lunar shenanigans. And just so y'all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what fits into your story, discard the rest, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, get myself together. Let's jump into it. Because I really do enjoy this time. And I even love the day that it's falling on. And I'm going to shuffle your cards while we're getting into this thing. But depending on when you're watching this, happy Venus Day. Venus is associated with Fridays. And this is a time, like I was saying, with especially, I think, with Venus being in her sign of exaltation, this is the time to appreciate the beauty around you and pay attention to the feelings that do move you. Go see a movie, go to the park, go to a play, go paint something, go draw on the sidewalk, if weather permitting. It's raining over here, so I don't know how that's gonna happen. But maybe it's dry where you're at. Make that happen. Make a sand castle, whatever this is. But I think that Venus days are really great for just doing those types of illusion things and paying attention to the relationships that you have with why those certain things bring that harmonious sense to you. Pay attention to that nuance, because sometimes I think the benefits of Venus can be, even though she's seen as the lesser benefic, I think that it's those little Venusian nuances that really make just the world sweet. I'm thinking about, I got these candles. I know I've kind of been on, and I love the aroma. It makes the whole everything just more pleasant. So those are, and I like Venus days too for just doing some. I usually shave every Venus day, and just kind of doing some extra self care things for yourself as well, and even trying to do that during like the Venus hours. So just some things to some things to think about. But let's get into the lunar shenanigans. Because on the 3rd of January, the moon is going to enter into Pisces at about 7:20 a.m., and that is Pacific time. And she's in that waxing crescent phase. And the waxing crescent is a time for exploration. It's a time to get curious, a time to start looking into doing some research into the things that you've wanted to start if you set any intentions during this lunar cycle. So let's say if this fell in your, because I have a Leo rising, so this would fall in my 6th house, and for all Leo risings in the 6th house if you're working with whole sign. And so this could be a great time. Maybe you think about changing your diet. Maybe you're thinking about working out more. Maybe you want to do more stretching. Maybe you want to change your job. Like whatever that could look like. Maybe you're thinking about a pet. Maybe this could be a time where you take your pet to the vet. That could be something maybe once. That, or not just once, but something that you make when they were around this energy. Just when was the last time that they got some rush shots or made sure their joints are doing well, doing all the little things. So those would be just some invitations to look at. But now we're doing curious. Maybe we're doing researches into different vets. Maybe we're thinking about putting our applications out there. Maybe whatever that's looking like. But those would just be some examples of the things we're starting to take some actions. We're feeling a lot, and we're feeling a lot too, again, because that moon in Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, Big Papa. So there is this Jupiter is, I feel, not just about expansion. That's the first thing you usually think about with Jupiter, abundance. But I think Jupiter really is that kind of that optimistic, but the wisdom in, or how do I want to put this? The optimism in wisdom. Like when you come to learn something, you kind of have that like, oh, that like why the whole process was we went through something. That's kind of how I feel like Jupiter in Pisces, or like that kind of Pisces, or the Pisces part of Jupiter is like. It's a more kind of inner revelations type of thing that goes on with Pisces, because Pisces is the mutable water sign, so they're a very fluid sign, able to swim through these cosmic oceans. And I think with Venus being there, Saturn being there, the moon being there, this is a great time to attract the things that you want, nurture them, and give it form. With all of this stuff coming into this mix here, and the North Node is getting ready to enter into Pisces here soon. I'll definitely be talking about that in my on my other channel here. I think next week is when, I think on the 11th, if I'm not mistaken. So as we start getting into a lot of this Pisces energy and moving into those more kind of cosmic focus, this would, I feel, be a great time to get silent, pay attention to what comes up for you, and follow those intuitive nudges. Be curious about what comes up. If you see flashes of images, if you happen to hear a certain conversation that really kind of piques your interest, go down that rabbit hole, see where it leads you, and you be, I think, very pleasantly surprised with what comes up for you. And if you want to work more personally with these planetary placements, maybe different solar returns, things along those lines, maybe just one of the tarot reading, get a little intuitive in that intuitive space, down in the description box below is a link for all the services that I provide. So definitely check that out if that so resonates with you. But I think that's all I got for you there. So let's go ahead and switch over. And then last little thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And before we jump into this thing, I'm going to ring this handy-dandy bell here, bringing some good vibes. Help us as we get ready to transcend into that ocean. So adjust your volume if you need to, but let's give this a ring and get into this thing. I don't even know how to describe that. There's something just so soothing about that. It just really, really raises the vibration. But let's get into your general energy of the day. Oh, look at this. This is perfect for Jupiter. So you have Archangel Phanuel. Yeah, Phanuel. That's fine. But we're moving on because this card is about hope, optimism, and new beginnings. And so, you know, when I was talking about that when I was somehow trying to get out that, finding the enthusiasm and the optimism in the wisdom, I think that it's when you find that hope, I guess that's the word I was more so looking for, when you find that hope that there can be a new tomorrow, that you can overcome a challenge, then new beginnings start to open up here for you. This Archangel Phanuel feels like this like doors opening. You know, like opportunities presenting themselves. And if you're feeling, again, if you especially follow, I think with this moon in Pisces, follow any things that you're feeling optimistic about. Maybe, you know, like I'm feeling really good about this. You know, I'm going to make this thing happen. Any kind of new beginnings that you're wanting to do. This is something I feel like, you know what, this time this time is going to be different. And not even just like, you know, let's say whatever you happen to be working on, even if you happen to come across a roadblock, maybe hit a stumbling block. When I say you're going to do things different, even in how you handle maybe the mistakes that come, the pitfalls that come, where we're not going to just beat up on yourself. We're going to grow and, again, transcend from this thing. But let me get one more thing. So this card I'm looking at being drawn to 20, and that's the Judgment card energy. And I'm thinking, you know, the Judgment card represents not just Pluto, but represents, like in like the modern kind of terms, but more so represents that element of fire, that sense of will. And this is giving me, it's curious the message that I'm getting. It's talking, I'm getting a sense of the energy of Sagittarius, like that hope and the optimism of Sagittarius, but maybe the hope of Pisces. And it's like combining those two and having that feeling carrying you forward. That's an interesting mix that I think is coming through there. But let's get a little bit more into this. We're gonna get a card on this and talk about, see what are some past energies that may be coming up with this hope and optimism, this new beginnings here. So let's see what's going on with that. But this to me is definitely an invitation, you know, that the hope that, again, that things can change, and that it may not seem like it in the moment, but Spirit. All right, so you have the Four of Pentacles in reverse here. And this feels to me like we're not in this sense of power, that maybe the reserves for the hope, the chances that things are changing may be kind of running a little thin, possibly here. I'm even kind of getting that maybe there is like a financial thing with the Pentacles, of course, some kind of material thing that's maybe missing, something that is needing to be built back up in a sense. I like to sometimes think as the Four of Pentacles as like your bank card, the things that you kind of hold. I'm thinking about the Rider-Waite, how they have someone kind of holding these pentacles. One, they got their feet grounded on pentacles, they're holding one, and there's one above their head. But I just think that there's something about something with a savings, you know, as far as like saving for maybe even a new tomorrow here. And that maybe even that there was a chance, like maybe this could be where you were thinking that you missed out on an opportunity here, but I'm getting where when one door closes, another one, another one opens for you. You know, nothing ever, what's meant for you will absolutely come your, let me get a clarifier on that. That's interesting. But this to me is just like not quite feeling in that sense of power, that sense of authority. And thanks, Spirit. So you have the Prince of Wands here. In the Prince of Wands, the Prince of Wands is one that if there is a chance for things to turn, for me, this gives me like maybe something may have happened, but that doesn't mean that you have to be down and out. This can be an invitation. The Prince of Wands is the only prince in the Thoth deck that has his eyes open. And I feel like this is seeing things, you know, where you're reflecting on something, of how something went, maybe a mistake, maybe a thing, but not letting that be like, okay, yeah, that was maybe a battle that was lost, but it's not in the overall arching themes. Like, it's not something that's like, I'm not quite sure how to explain that. Like, you're not down, but not out. You know, is what I'm getting with this Prince of Wands here. But I'm also even kind of getting to it's the strength to persevere too with the Prince of Wands. There's something here calling on that fire. He's the airy part of fire. And the air keeps that fire fueled, you know, but it's calling on this sense of inner will here. And it's like, I just think that it's just calling here to not lose that reserve of hope. But let's see what's going on in the present. And maybe maybe it was a struggle to kind of find this, kind of call on those reserves here, but it feels to me that, yeah, like a new doorway is opening here. Yes, absolutely. Look at that. The Three of Cups here. And the Three of Cups in the Thoth deck, that's abundance. It's Mercury and Cancer. And this to me is, and this is just a cheerful card in general. This could be where maybe if you've been feeling in a slump, maybe this could be calling on some friends, sharing those feelings, talking about these things, and maybe someone can give you some advice here. Maybe a Prince of Wands type, someone can kind of help put a little fuel in the fire, help you maybe even see an opportunity or give you an option for a new beginning. Maybe you were, I'm not quite sure, just apply to your situation here, but I'm even looking at being kind of drawn to the Big Dipper here, and how something about looking to the skies, to the stars for even some hope here. Very kind of even like the star card energy coming through. Let me get some. Let me get a clarifier on that. Nice. This is nice. So clarified by the sun. And what a beautiful thing. Abundance clarified by the sun. I really think with this that there's the hope, there's the optimism, there's the chance for the new beginning. But I think that something here with how these women are staring up at the sky, there's this moment of, oh, how fascinating. There's this moment of silence that's happening here. And I'm going to talk about this in the next video. But the Sabian symbol, interestingly enough, was talking about some spinsters sitting in silence. But it was talking about that dignified inward reflection. It's very fascinating. But I think that there's something here, almost like a hermit energy, hermit star thing happening, where it's like we're going within again to find the hope. And I think this could be even really just an invitation to just like get around some solar type of, maybe even just getting out in the sun if that's possible for you, but being around maybe some solar figures, maybe like maybe not necessarily like a Leo type, because I have Jupiter and Leo in the first house, so I was like, think maybe someone with some strong Jupiter placements, like a first house, a third house, or not third house, a 10th house. Someone with just like, I'm not quite sure, something like a buoyant type of energy. I think it really helped. There's something infectious about that when you're in that energy. But let's get some future stuff here. Let's see what's going on with that. Okay. So you got the Nine of Cups in reverse. And even though it's in reverse, that I feel like it's still coming, because this is that wish. This is Jupiter in Pisces, this wheel, or the Nine of Cups. And so I think that the challenge is going to be for the future is to keeping the hope alive, keeping this really good feeling here with the Three of Cups to the Sun, keeping that and holding that through, especially through the challenges. I think that there's a need to, and I think even in general, I think that this is also a reminder of when, just how life can fluctuate sometimes. That when we're in the great moments of life, that where they're great, they don't last forever. There is always an ebb and a flow, but in that flow, we really get in the flow. Take as much light and things as you can. It's like harvesting crops and growing the crops during the spring and the summer and harvesting them to get you through the winter and to do it all over again. That's what I'm kind of getting here, to not lose that sense of happiness. But let's get a clarifier on this future. And there's Leo. So yeah, definitely hang out with, and especially you got the Sun and the Lust card here. The Lust card, that's Leo, or the Strength card. But with this Lust card, don't try not to lose that light, that thrill of life, the there's something about embracing this whole like I don't know, some new opportunities coming here, because these minors are just being clarified by really fiery figures here. And the Prince of Wands has some Leo in his chart. He represents the first two decans, the first two decans of Leo and the last of Cancers. And there's something here, about not letting that fire burn out from you, to keeping that fuel going, especially when you get, I love when you have the planet and the sign that it rules, when there's together, there's this emphasis here. So maybe even hanging around some Sun and Leo types, like seeing something about that can even be uplifting, or that might even be something that's important to you right now. I mean, I got 5 stacks of Leo, so that might be what's going on here. Maybe you need to hang out with me. But let's get some advice from Jupiter. What's a little more heat for the win? Spirit. So you have the 8 of Wands in reverse here. In this 8 of Wands, to me, I'm definitely getting a slowing down. That sometimes I think that with the 8 of Wands too, to grab the hope and when you're feeling those feelings of change, and that you can, when the inspiration hits, grab it and go, because just as quick as it comes, it can go. And some advice that I'm getting, a very kind of, the word is fleeting with the 8 of Wands, and there's just something here about not letting something pass by while it's hot. That you can, and it's not to say that it won't come around again. Excuse me, but is remembering that when it does come around again, it's never the same. And that's not to be disheartening, but it just the nature of it. I remember, and this is something that I do reflect on sometimes, where I think about, there was this period where I was feeling like really inspired, and I still can do something with this idea, and I do intend on doing something with it, but it's not the same, and if you try to wait on that to come, you may never do anything, so that's something to be, I feel like, kind of mindful of there as well. But let's get a clarifier with that 8 of Wands. Oh, okay. Getting a couple here. Thanks, Spirit. Let's see what's going on. Interesting. Okay. So you have the 8 of Wands is clarified by the 8 of Swords and the Hierophant here. And now this Hierophant, the Hierophant is, it feels like there's something here that may be getting in the way. This is 8 of Swords to the Hierophant. Like, the Hierophant is an interesting figure. There's this thing of like esoteric knowledge that comes with the Hierophant. There's some, where the High Priestess, I'm thinking about the relationship with those two. And actually, let's go ahead and switch back over. Where the High Priestess is that inner knowing, that just sort of wild, intuitive magic. The Hierophant is more structured, just equally as intuitive, but more structured, more conserved, like one that you have to go through initiations and things, and different rites and passages and things to attain or to acquire the knowledge. And there's something here about maybe it's not a plotting, but I don't know if this is like a doubt that's maybe coming through, but something's getting in the way of some new beginnings of starting, of getting, of the optimism here. That's maybe too. I think that with the Hierophant, that maybe there's this worry between. I'm just thinking about the minors that the Hierophant is associated with. He's Taurus, and so that's the 5, 6, and 7 of Pentacles, and so there's something here about that anxiety between whether you're going to succeed or whether you're going to fail. I think, and I think that fear that of the failure may be outweighing the success, and so maybe that's what's keeping the energies behind here. But maybe even in that secret energy that, or the secretive energy that I'm getting, is like the secrets is you're gonna fail sometimes, but and not even you're gonna make mistakes sometimes. I think failure comes when you just give up, when you don't, when you let a challenge just completely deter you. And I don't mean just in the immediate. I mean where you just don't pick it up ever again, where you just kind of swear off of it. I'll never touch that. Just kind of just banish it. I'm not like take that as it resonates. I'm not gonna dig too much more into that, but try not to lose the faith in this, and keep the hope that a new beginning can come here. And that sometimes the Hierophant for me, whenever I get the Hierophant, because I get the Hierophant an interesting amount, and when I think about it, at least I've gotten it here over the last couple of months. I've noticed I've gotten quite a bit of Hierophant energy. Sometimes that's a call of returning back to your roots, getting back to the foundation, not necessarily going to church, but remembering the ritual of church. I wasn't much of a church goer even growing up, but I love the idea that when I have gone, I love to watch the peace that other people get from it. Something about that's really soothing to me. And just think about just like prayer and things along those lines, meditation, getting back the ways that I can form that bridge between me and source. So that's another thing that I kind of associate with the Hierophant. So just another thing to think about. But if you like that, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. And share this if you know somebody who gets some nuggets of wisdom from this. And then subscribe to you Hierophant. Hit that bell button, you notify on all these videos each day. And then last little bit, and I'll shuffle for this one, this deck for your surprise card here. But if you want to know what's going on with the other celestial bodies, on my other channel, Alchemist 8, I do weekly videos talking about the different transits, how to work with the energies, and I think you'd love it. So if that's something that resonates with you, definitely check that out. But let's get into your surprise card here, because you have the 3 Faces of God card here. And this is actually a really, really pretty card. I love the cards in this deck, period. It's some deep stuff to think about. But the 3 Faces of God, it's talking about the creation, the maintenance, and then the destruction, which is very much like the zodiac signs. The cardinal, which is the initiator, the fixed sign, which sustains it, and the mutable, which transmutes it, turns it into something else. And considering here, while we're talking about the 3 Faces of God, one message that I'm getting is that considering that you got both Leo, the Lust card, and the Hierophant Taurus, there's a lot of focus, I think, on the sustaining, the maintenance part of the 3 Faces of God. It's one thing to have the hope, and it's like, okay, how do I keep that thing so that I can transform this situation into something else and destroy something that wasn't ideal into something more ideal, and then to keep going in that cycle, because that's all this journey is, but the creation, the maintaining, and then the destroying of it. Even from this body, we come into manifestation, we take care of this thing, and then we return to the earth, and then return to spirit. And so I think there's something here about just not even letting that process be depressing or be something that gets in a way or gets in your way. Let it just become a natural part of the process, something that is meant to be enjoyed to the fullest. I feel like with that lust card that was coming through there, because I even was just kind of getting that. I'm even getting like a dissatisfied with that lust card, to clarifying the Nine of Cups in reverse, and just as, let's say, maybe a result didn't go as you wanted, there's always a chance for a new beginning. It may take some time, but you can always change something else. And just even thinking with Taurus, may take, again, even Leo, might take some time. But when they get through it, man, they get through it, and you can't stop them. Just keeps ascending. So, whew, that's some fascinating stuff there. Very, very interesting. I hope you like that. Until next time, keep eyes on that moon. Keep raising that vibration through the roof. And I will catch you on the next one when we catch you Sunday. Sunday.